Let's go with the retention side of things now. Basically, the two things or two questions that I want to tackle today, I'm going to try to simplify it as much as possible. And basically, the two questions are number one, how can you or how can we scale acquisition with retention? Not necessarily by investing more into ads, but by just taking care of retention. I'll explain now how to do that. And then I'm going to try to answer the second question, which is, okay, how do I turn a new customer into a repeat customer? Like, what do I need to do on like in my retention strategy to make that happen? First question, how to scale acquisition with retention. Basically, the most important thing here is reducing time between orders, specifically first and second orders. And the way that we are going to try to improve or reduce the time between first and second orders is by taking a look at these retention KPIs. Klaviyo attribution, whatever platform you use attribution, like that doesn't help. It just boosts your ego, as Dennis said, previously. If you look at ROAS, for example, but the main KPIs, especially if you have, like if you're a CPG brand or you sell consumable goods, then you should definitely look at very short timeframes, like for the LTV. Okay, because if you look at, for example, as we do with our clients, 60-day LTV, then we look at a time frame. We look at average 60-day LTV of at least the last 3 months, and we do this because it's a long enough time frame to see an impact on cash flow, and also a long enough time frame to see a repurchase. And the reason why we do this is because when we look at LTV in our Excels or trying to calculate all these numbers, the PSM and all this kind of stuff that we try to understand, to know how much can we invest to like on ads or whatever action we have on our business. And LTV can mean many things. It can be average overall LTV. It could be LTV from like month over month, last year, like it could be whatever. So what we do is we look at this time frame that is going to help us look in a short enough time horizon, and like not too long, not too short, because this is going to be actionable. And honestly, if we look at LTV from like last year, you probably made changes in your products, in your pricing, and in many different variables that it's going to make that LTV be outdated. So that's why we look at this at this time, this 60-day LTV. And if you have, if you sell durable goods, if you have like a fashion brand, for example, then you might want to adjust that time window. But I would suggest for you to calculate this, and I'll explain how you can do that with an app that we use with our clients. But 60-day LTV would be the most important. And then other ways to see that is the 60-day LTV to CAC and the 60-day LTV growth rate, which, I have some benchmarks here so that you can have a reference when you do that calculation. Usually 60-day LTV to CAC should be around 2.2 to 2.5 to 1. The golden rule, you've probably heard this, is 3 to 1, but that's like average lifetime value. That's why here it's a little bit less. And we can also look at it in terms of growth rate, which would be 25%. And then we calculate this with Lifetimely. In Lifetimely, you can do many things for the retention side. It's pretty awesome, to be honest. You can do a cohorts analysis. You can do, as you can see on the screen, the one on the right, that's to analyze time between orders. You can do that for like first purchases, second purchases, like whatever. You can analyze everything. And then we're going to use all that information for what I'm going to explain afterwards in terms of, the flows and all that kind of stuff. And then as you see below here, you can see the customer repurchase rate for new customers and for returning customers in 30 days, 90 days, and 180 days. And that's going to give you a lot of information to know, okay, how many people buy again? What's the average order value? And from there, you reverse engineer to see, okay, how much profit am I getting in those first 30, 60 days that I can reinvest into ads, right? Now that we figured out, okay, how retention can impact acquisition, and then there's many things that you can do and reverse engineer how much you can reinvest, and also taking into account what Dennis explained in terms of the compound effect, and that requires calculations. That's why he shared the PSM calculator, and then with all the retention KPIs, if you know them, then you can apply that to the PSM calculator, or any Excel that you use to calculate how much can you spend on the ad side, or on any other action that you do as a brand, right? And now we're going to talk about how. Okay, we know the numbers, we know like all the theory, and this looks like pretty good on paper, but how can we make people actually repurchase? Like, what do we need to do, right? So again, to have someone purchase once, it might be luck, okay, but you're not gonna get lucky twice. Let's put it that way. So in order to have someone buy multiple times from your brand, you need to answer these 3 questions. So first one, and most important probably besides customer experience, is, did the product deliver on the promise? Like, if the product didn't give the result that the person expected, or that you promised the person that it would give them, then they're not going to come back. That's for sure. So then we need to assume that the product is not the problem. We have a good product, good customer experience. Then the next 2 questions are the most important, and they are tied to the business, the type of products that you have, whether they are durable or they are consumables. So first one is, do they want to buy again? And second one is, do they need to buy again? Okay, so knowing these 3 questions, again, we need to assume that the promise was delivered. So we're going to assume that, okay, everything was good with the product, everything was good with the delivery, customer experience, all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm going to talk about 2 scenarios. The first one is, they want, but they don't need the product. And this scenario is usually the one where it's for durable goods, okay? Because they might not need to buy another shirt from your brand. They might not need to buy another pair of shoes, but we, as a brand, need to make them want to buy again. It doesn't have to be the same product. It might be a complementary product, but they need to want it because they don't need it, So the 3 levers to increase 60-day LTV, in this case, this is more for durable products, is number 1, the product journey, which I'll talk about in a second, and then 2 key flows on the retention side. Okay, this is very specific. This is not the whole customer journey. This is not like the only 2 flows that you need, but the 2 flows that I'm going to talk about are the cross-sell flow and the win-back flow. And then, before going into the other scenario, it's very, very important to understand that for this first scenario, where it's more so for durable goods, like fashion brands, for example, the most important thing is to understand the product journey. Like, you need to know exactly which are your hero product or hero products, and what is the product that people buy the most from first to second purchase, and from second to third purchase. And also, from if they buy product A, do they buy product B afterwards, or do they buy product A again? And the same, if they buy on the first time product B, do they buy product A, or what is it? What is that product journey? And as you can see, this can be, you can see this on lifetime, which is pretty awesome. Again, this is something that if you did manually, you probably drive yourself crazy. But this is very important to understand how to cross-sell in our flows. Okay, this is not some guesswork that okay, usually if they buy socks, then they buy a t-shirt, or they buy some shoes or whatever. No, this is okay, they buy product A, and we know for a fact that 30% of these people, then if they purchase again, they buy this product. And that's how you create the cross-sell flows. And then let's go to scenario 2, which is, they might not even want to buy your product again, but they might need it because, for example, I'm a customer of protein, from supplement brands, for the gym and all that kind of stuff. So I might not want necessarily the protein, but I need it if I want to like grow muscle and I want to get to my protein levels every day. So the three levers to increase 60-day LTV in this scenario, first is the product usage, and then the two key flows, the onboarding flow and the replenishment flow. So for CPG brands, consumable goods, there are like three key things that you really need to nail after the first purchase. Number one, this is product activation. So in other words, making sure the customer makes use of the product. Number two, habit formation, helping the customer create the habit of using it. Because we can activate the product. They might, take the creatine twice and then they forget about it. But we can't let that happen, because if that happens, they're not going to need the product. They're not going to buy again. And this has happened to me that, I buy some, whey protein. I like first week in the gym, I take it every day, and then I just forget. And then that protein like lasts for 3 months instead of like the 28 servings, 28 days that it should be, right? So product activation, habit formation to make sure that they use it consistently. And then the third one, which is like the next level, probably I haven't seen many brands do this correctly, at least, is ecosystem integration. Basically helping the customer maximize the value of the product, integrating it into not just the habit that we want to build, but into their other habits and activities. So basically, for example, if I buy whey protein and you understand me as a customer, you probably know that I like, I don't know, smoothies. So maybe if you tell me that your chocolate whey protein goes really well with matcha, or it goes really well with this other recipe, then you are integrating your product into my life, not just in an isolated way. And that's maximizing the value, not just with the product, but with everything surrounding that person. And then, as you can see here, these are like the four key flows that I've been talking about. These are post-purchase, post-purchase flows. You can have all four of them, regardless of your brand, but it might not make much sense, and some will, they will overlap in terms of like the message and what, the emails and all that kind of stuff. So for CPG brands, again, it would be the onboarding flow and replenishment flow, which I'll touch on right now. And for durable products, you want to have for sure the cross-sell, upsell, and the win-back flows. So to make it very simple, and this is probably one of the most important flows in terms of customer experience and value, like providing value to a new customer. And this is the onboarding flow. You can do this for any brand, honestly. We have done it for, fashion, sports fashion, sport tech, in terms of, for example, for one of the brands, we did a challenge. It was a 30-day challenge. So we help them wear the clothing, the apparel that they bought, and use it in the habit that we want to build, so that they use a product. And that's like running a marathon, or like running every day 20 minutes, or doing their favorite sport every day with the attire that they purchased. And you can do that with a durable goods brand. It doesn't need to be CPG or consumables. But here's where you want to do the product activation, habit formation, and value maximization, like all those three things. This is where you do it, so that, as you can see there, the goal is increase 60-day LTV by activating the product, building the habit of using the product, and maximizing its value. Because we integrate it into their ecosystem, and there's like many different flows that you can, many different emails, that you can send here. It could even be like a how to use, how to wash. If it's a fashion brand, how to use. I don't know, if it's like purse. Depending on the color of the purse, maybe it goes well with, this is the outfit you can combine it with. It could be whatever, but it's okay. How can I add value? How can I make sure these three things happen in this flow? And then we have the cross-sell upsell flow. This is not a new flow by any means, but it's very important to understand that it's especially important for durable goods brands, because for supplements then we have the replenishment flow, and also we could have like subscription upsell flow. That could be like one of the flows. But in terms of just like cross-sell upsell, what we want to do is try to maximize FOB, so first order value, by having an immediate upsell for first time customers. That way, like, the when they're like hotter, purchase again is when they just purchased and they just gave us, the money. So that's when you want to maximize LTV, because after that it goes down in terms of lifetime value. Then if your business model has like a subscription model, you can do a subscription upsell. And also the last thing is complementary products. Okay, in this case, for example, a fashion brand, if you bought some shoes, maybe you're gonna like this and you're gonna like that, and this is where the product journey comes into place. Okay, this is understanding the product journey and the stage of the cost, like where is the customer at in the customer journey, and this is something that you need to map out too. And then the replenishment flow, in this case, this would be kind of like what you would do with a cross-sell flow, because in the cross-sell flow we're trying to maximize next purchases, and in the replenishment flow we do the same. In this case, this would be more like a reminder for as a reminder, if they don't want that product again, you can just after that make some recommendations, and as a last resort, you can always do second purchase incentives. Here the goal of this flow is to reduce time between orders and increase 60-day LTV by, sometimes people just forget. And this is why first you need to nail down the onboarding flow, because if we nail down the onboarding flow, we probably help that person use the product, and then the replenishment flow is just going to be an easy reminder for people to buy again. And very important, don't just trigger this flow after 30 days. If there's like a 28 dose vitamin or supplement or whatever, look at what Lifetime tells you, because some people are really like, you can't make human behavior reasonable. So even if you think your product should run out after 30 days, we found out, for example, with this brand, this sports wear brand, we thought, it's durable goods, like they're probably not going to buy until like the next 60 to 90 days. And we found out that the average time between orders, it was 21 days. So that means they were purchasing again much earlier than we thought. And we were, at the beginning, they had like a win-back flow after 60 days, when they should probably do it much earlier, knowing that the time between orders is that one, right? And then the win-back flow in here is exactly what I said about the 21 days. As you can see here, you can see the graphs and the graph going down, because that's the percentage of people that repurchased again in what time frame. And as you can see, after like, I think it's 30 something days, it just flattens to almost like 0%. So that's where you need to be. Okay, I'm going to test out 21 days, and then I'm going to test out another let's say 27 days, because that's where it also starts falling. So we want to make sure we message the customer at the right time. And the win-back flow is, again, kind of like the replenishment flow, but more of like a last resort, trying to maximize LTV by reactivating inactive clients, just sending reminders, sending recommendations in case they don't want the same product. Or again, if it's not if it's a durable good and they are not going to purchase that product again, then we want to show like bestsellers, recommendations based on what they purchased before, just as we did in the cross-sell flow with the product journey. And we can also give second purchase incentives. Again, this is the answer, very summarized answer to how to scale acquisition with retention and how to turn a new customer into a repeat customer.